What's up, guys? Your jack of all games, master of none, Alec is here with another Mastemon deck profile. So this is a long time coming, guys. If you've been paying attention to Digimon, then you know that EX6 Infernal Ascension did come out. That's a set featuring yellow and purple Digimon, mainly angels and demons. The premier themes from that set are things like the 7 Great Demon Lords, there's new Diaboromon support, but most importantly, and you guys already know, there was Mastemon support. And so I've been tinkering around with my Mastemon list, trying to get used to these new cards. I think I got something and I want to share it with you guys. So I don't have my overhead rig, so I'm going to show the profile in pictures so you can kind of just scrub through the video and see the list exactly. Anyway, let's get right to it. So the first thing I want you guys to notice is this is a purple base. We're using Nyaromon as our egg. It just gives us kind of quick access to trash setup, because Mastemon, don't get me wrong, is better than ever, and that requires your trash to be kind of ready earlier in the game. So being able to get those chump swings in just to fill up your trash with cards that you need is very helpful. Why purple over yellow base? I think yellow base is more explosive with a higher ceiling, but when you don't see the Patamon in yellow base, I think you suffer horribly. I can't stand when I don't see the Patamon in the yellow base Mastemon. So I just find that the purple base is just a bit more consistent for me. And honestly, I just don't want to take my Patamons out of my 3 Great Angels deck. Let me know if you want to see that as well. These rookies are pretty good. So the newest rookie we have is the EX6. I'm looking at them right here. If you see me looking down, it's because I have cards in front of me. EX6 Salamon. It does have a start of main phase effect to grab a memory. That's actually great, and all you have to have is a purple Digimon or a Tamer in order to trigger it. Very useful to just get that extra memory, because we do big combos, we need to have the memory to do them. BT16 Salamon, that's the purple yellow one. So number one, it's good because it's yellow and purple, so we can turn on things like Chaos Degradation very early in the game. But more importantly, it lets you Digivolve into a holy beast from your trash. Being able to recycle Gatomons in trash actually helps add to what I think is the new biggest strength of Mastemon, which is the grind game. All right, level 4s. This will not be a surprise. We're running 9 level 4s, and 8 of them are Gatomons. So Star Deck Gatomon goes without saying, it's still great, wonderful. Our new Gatomon, EX6 Gatomon, is fire. The number one thing to take note with this Gatomon is that it has a search effect on play and on Digivolve. That was always a bit of a trade-off with Star Deck Gatomon, that if you Digivolved into it, you would miss out on its searching power. Now you don't have to compromise on it, but you won't get that reduction in Digivolution with this Gato, at least not by itself. And then the last card is a Devimon. And this is Rush Devimon, yellow base, you can just run Bushiagumon, right? Light work, very easy to work with. But Devimon does have advantages. Being a Rush Retaliator means that it can just show up and clear something off the board if you really want to and need it to. It is a Fallen Angel, and that does trigger certain effects in the deck. Now into our level 5s. So the number one thing with building, I guess, current Mastemon decks is what I call the rule of 6. Essentially, now we have enough Mastemons, Angelmons, and Lady Devimons where I think we hit our optimal numbers of them. So the idea is to run 6 Lady Devimons, 6 Angelmons, and 6 Mastemons. So how do you choose which ones to put into the deck? Honestly, you want to run as many different kinds as you can. This is kind of a toolboxy deck where you want to find the right effects for the right situation, and there's no one size fits all. That's why I'm running 3 different types of Lady Devimon. So BT11 Lady Devimon is still a great Lady Devimon. Being able to grab your pieces out the trash is extremely important for our grind game, so you still want to have it. The retaliation keyword, it comes up every so often, I guess. But more importantly, EX6 Lady Devimon, so it can play a Mirei from your trash for free. And now that we have 2 Mireis, one that costs 5 and one costs 4, we really don't want to have to play them both. So this Lady Devimon being able to grab one out the trash to play for free is wonderful. The scapegoat keyword comes up every so often. It's not something that that every stack needs, because your stacks are gonna get cleared, there's no way around it. But it is a nice thing to have. Starter deck Lady Devimon. It gives you an extra search, an extra chance to see what you need, and that can be the difference maker between playing on curve, where you're not losing any tempo to your opponent, versus you just didn't see the pieces you needed. Now you're behind and now you have to figure out a way to pick it back up. This EX6 Anjomon has Alliance, and that is huge. Yes, she can play a Mirei from your hand. That's great, we love it. But being able to get Alliance in this deck is wonderful. Mastemon is notorious for not being able to finish games. Your Mastemon stacks get huge, they hit twice, wonderful. Digimon ACE, I wanted to run 2 in my deck, but I kind of just didn't find the space, mostly because I wanted to have space for Lusamon Chaos Mode. This is the original Lusamon. We're not running the newer Lusamon that came in Infernal Ascension. That one's cool. It puts your opponent in an awkward spot where they have to make a choice that hurts them, but I still don't like letting my opponent choose which thing they care about less. All right, now on to Mastemon. So now that we have Mastemon ACE, which I guess we'll skip talking about original Mastemon. We'll just talk about what Mastemon ACE means for the deck. The number one thing is, by having a second Mastemon, we can reach the 6 count on Mastemon. Mastemon ACE has Blast Digivolution, but it's Blast DNA Digivolution. So you don't have to have both your Lady Devimon and Anjomon on the field to trigger the Blast Digivolution, because if you could do that, you would have just did it normally during your turn. Instead, all you actually have to have is one of them, but you have to specifically have Anjomon or Lady Devimon. You can still DNA Digivolve into this Digimon properly with any level 5 yellow and any level 5 purple, but if you're going to trigger the Blast version, it has to be Anjomon and Lady Devimon. That means you cannot use the Lusamon Chaos Mode. There are no substitutions here. We're now able to remove Digimon regardless of their level by essentially chaos degrading them into our opponent's security stack. And then in order to not let my opponent's security stack get ungodly huge, like in some matchups, she burns your opponent down till they only have 4 left. So if you did do some cast degradations in the early game before you made this, and their stack is sitting at like 6 or 7 cards, which is horrific, she'll burn them down to 4, so it's actually possible to win the game still. I don't have anything bad to say about Mastemon ACE except for the fact that it's an ACE, and ACE Digimon bring in a new weakness to Mastemon. We have Trubimon ACE and Ophanimon ACE. They just bring really good utility to a deck that oftentimes leaves level 5s on the board. If your opponent's not paying attention to the types of aces you run, you can hit them with some slick DP minus, because Ophanimon and Trubimon will DP minus, but they'll DP minus in different ways. Your opponent kind of has to make a hard call on which one they think you have unless they saw you search it. Here's the thing about running all these Ace Digimon. So we have 3 Mastemon Aces, these 2 level 6 aces, and then we have the Anjomon Ace. That's 6 aces, and that adds a new weakness to the Mastemon deck that we didn't have before. Our boards are fragile. And it's not fragile in the way that, oh, our boards are less defensive. No, I mean, they're more defensive than ever. But when your opponent breaks your board, you're gonna toss over some memory. That's been my biggest issue playing Mastemon with the new support, is I've had, I think, yeah, 2 games specifically where I had my opponent almost dead to rights. It was so close, but then they were able to delete a stack and then they overflowed. Then they used that overflow to delete another stack, and then it overflowed, and then it just kind of snowballed into so much advantage for them that they took me out the game. I'm still running Ordinemon. I think Ordinemon is a great finisher for the deck. All right, next up, we're running 6 Mirei Mikaguras. So level 5 Mirei, cost 5 Mirei we don't have to talk about. It's cost 4 Mirei that's huge and must be talked about. So cost 4 Mirei says when one of your Holy Beast, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait Digimon is played, not digivolved, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. All right, so that's where that's where some memory gain comes from. But then one of your Digimon may digivolve into Anjomon or Lady Devimon in the trash with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So what this card does is essentially take new Gatomon and turn it into old Gatomon, but of course you still have all the benefits that new Gatomon has. Oh, I should have mentioned, end of your turn, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve. So that brings the whole package together. So now you can, especially in grind game situations, you can slap down new Gatomon, get its effect, you're gonna gain memory, and you're gonna get to Digivolve into something from your trash at a reduced cost. It makes this card perfect. Mirei and new Gatomon pair so well together. They're a huge part of the grind game that makes Mastemon so strong. The only thing is this Mirei does cost 4, so this is a very high cost Tamer deck, and it's actually not feasible that you'll be able to play both for free off the new Lady Devimon and the Angelmon. So the way I look at it is you really want to at least play one for free. That's really what you want. Sometimes they pop up in security and that helps out. But you want to get at least one of them played for free, and then you kind of have to bite the bullet on playing the other. It's really hard to get them both out for free. I think I pulled it off once. I've gotten them both out for free once. Every other time I've had to pay at some point. But it works out. It means the deck does require a little bit of setup to reach its grind game, but once it does, oof. And then we have our, the last Tamers are 2 TKs and 1 Cody in TK. So TK is self-explanatory, but Cody in TK is really cool because on DNA Digivolution, it triggers a D-Digivolution on one of your opponent's Digimon. So that really helps with clearing the level threshold on old Mastemon's effect, where you play out a Digimon, it's usually level 5, and you delete a level 5 or lower. But if the problem Digimon was level 6, you can trigger the Cody first, Digivolve the level 6, make it into a level 5, and now Mastemon can clear it. And that also works on level 7s as well, but with other effects where you can Lucimon's effect can delete a level 6 or lower. So you can trigger the DNA Digivolution, Digivolve the 7 to a 6, play then the Lucimon triggers and deletes the 6. It works out really well. It's another setup piece, but it's really, really helpful because there's nothing worse than staring down level 7s and 6s that you just don't have the ability to clear at the moment. And then last but not least, we're running 3 Chaos Degradations. It's just still a great card. All right, so I've been beating around the bush about this whole grind game thing. And so let me sell you on the biggest strength of modern day Mastemon. So that's the combination of your 2 Mireis, any Gatomon that you want. It could be new, it could be old. They'll both get the job done here. And then all you need really is BT11 Lady Devimon in trash. If you set up your Tamers and just have a Gatomon in hand and a Lady Devimon in trash, you create a wonderful grind situation. You play the Gatomon, get your Gatomon effect. You trigger Mirei to gain a memory, so you've already gained one. Now Mirei is going to Digivolve into your Lady Devimon in trash for reduced cost. So you've gained a memory and reduced cost. Lady Devimon is going to grab either the Mastemon or the Angelmon that you're missing. Let's not forget you did search off that Gatomon, so it's likely you only need 1 piece left. Lady Devimon grabs the last piece. Old Mirei triggers to play out the Lady Devimon, and now you can just go ahead and DNA Digivolve. And if for some ungodly reason you pass turn on that, let's say somehow you got memory choke and this passes turn, you're still going to be able to trigger new Mirei's end of turn Digivolution effect. So, and you can do this all game. Once you have this set up, it can just go and go and go because you always have the cards you need in your trash. You just need a Gatomon to get it started. And you arguably don't even need that because the BT16 Salamon can Digivolve into your Gatomons in trash. Now that won't trigger Mirei Mikagura's effect, but you can still just keep grinding out of your trash. This is really a deck that plays out of the trash, but that's where the pitfalls come in. So Omnimon Merciful Mode hurts more than ever. A big weakness that Mastemon decks have always had is removing level 7 Digimon. And I talked about it before, I'm just gonna reiterate it right now. That's why Cody and TK is here to de-digivolve level 7s down to level 6 so they're more manageable to delete. We still have a plethora of blocker retaliator setups that can still catch level 7s. At one point, that was kind of the only way we were gonna stop these level 7s. But also we have Chaos Degradation and Mastemon ACE, who can just Chaos degrade any level 7. So now the deck is stronger against level 7s than ever. It still takes setup, it's not instantaneous, but it's way better than what we had before. And then aggressive cards. So we talked about how new Angelmon gives you Alliance. You want to use that all the time to try and chop down your opponent's security. But we also have Ophanimon ACE, who gains security attack when you lose security during your turn. That's actually very easy to set up. Focusing on these cards in matchups that need to end fast, that's key. That is, always keep in mind what are your offensive options for when you're playing in time or when you're playing against a deck that you have to get out of here. And did you see those playmats I was using in the profile? Check out the A-Vault store. Those are their Space Time Angel playmats. They come in 2 different variants. There's the single playmat and a double-sided playmat. And the single playmats have a light and dark side because, well, Mastemon. But also, if you get the double-sided playmat, it has both designs. I love vibrant and thick playmats, and after taking it to a couple locals, I can promise you that the quality is there. My Mastemon deck is not cheap. I mean, you've seen the shiny cardboard. I felt very secure playing my cards on these playmats. And if you like to pick one up, then head over to the A-Vault store and use the code TEAMAPS5 for 5% off your order. But that's all I got to say about Mastemon, guys. I love this deck to death, and I'm gonna play it all through this format. I don't care how many times my board gets broken, and I'll update you guys by discovering any new text or any changes I want to make to the list. But for right now, this is what I'm working with. Like, if you're wondering what Alec is playing, it's this right now, and I'm gonna be playing this for a while. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.